You guys, welcome to a holiday episode of So Bad It's Good Pop Culture Roundup. We haven't talked to her in 2 weeks. I'm desperate to talk to her. So much has happened. She's been off celebrating Nana's 90th birthday in Atlanta. We've got to find all up. I mean, I know the Daily Mail didn't have any articles about Nana's 90th birthday that Sophie was celebrating, and I'm so livid, but we have to talk so much about so many things that have happened in the last 2 weeks. Plus, you've got to know that this Tuesday, So True with Sophie Ross, her podcast, is doing a solo episode. So you know those are always good. So subscribe now, and you get to listen to that. If you want to take a break from your family at Thanksgiving dinner, and you can go listen to a solo episode and go back to your peaceful state, because dinner table arguments during Thanksgiving really tend to pop up. But you know her from her Substack. You know her from her Twitter, which who knows if Twitter is still going to be around next week. The one and only Sophie Ross. Sophie, what is going on?
Wow, what an intro.
I got it. You know what? When I don't talk to you for a week, it quells
pours
up
out of
and
you.
it pours out of me, just like the Diet Coke that I've been drinking nonstop.
It's really weird that the Daily Mail hasn't published photos from Nana Jenny's birthday party.
Respect. First time they've been respectful on this issue in so long.
There were paparazzi there, and we were getting out of the car. I was wearing Balenciaga, shoe pants, and I was getting out like this, covering my face.
Well, also they've shown restraint. In fact, that Nana is with Pete Davidson as well, and they've shown incredible restraint, which I just so appreciate. With by the way, as a 90-year-old, did she give you any words of advice this when you celebrated? What did she say to you? Anything of wisdom?
First of all, it was at the senior care living center that her and my grandpa work at, so that was wild. We walked in the dining room, and because we had to walk through the dining room to get to where the little private party was, and everyone's eyes, it felt like that. I think there is a horror movie about a nursing home, crazy elderly people. But yeah, so it was me, my cousins, my parents, all the aunts and uncles, and everyone gave really sweet speeches, and it made me teary-eyed. And yeah, and go to my Twitter. I post this on Twitter. My grandpa serenaded my grandma, and it was so sweet.
Was it Watermelon Sugar? What was it? What song?
It was "You're my bread when I'm hungry."
Oh.
My dad is listening to this, and we've been humming that all day.
What if it was suit and tie, hair slicked back?
God, drives me wild.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, 90 years old on this earth is amazing, and what a gift. And I'm sure she's been amazing to you and your family your whole life. I was actually looking at the picture, and I was like, you guys have such a cool family, it seems like. What were you about to say?
I was just about to say that, everyone gave really great speeches. My dad.
Did you give a speech?
Uncle. No, it was just the kids did. The original 3 kids.
Okay.
And one of the nursing home friends was just so you know, you have a great family. And I was like, I need to remember that sometimes when I'm.
I know. By the way, no, that is the overall lesson of these week's episodes is remember that no matter how hard the family gets this week, we are grateful to have them.
Yes.
And be grateful that you're not the Kardashians. I really truly believe that we have by the way, also, did you promote any of our podcasts, your podcast at the nursing home? Do they know what podcasts are? My grandma doesn't. She's 98 years old, and we just say radio.
And I've been around other grandparents and my own where you have to explain what a podcast is.
And it makes you so sad because it makes you sad for yourself. You're oh, it's not radio, where it's semi-professional. There's so many things to talk about with you, but I guess we'll start with we could start anywhere, but let's start with something that has been predicted for a while now. I predicted actually last week's podcast when Sophie wasn't here. I predicted that Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde will be breaking up, but I only predicted it because I thought the only way that Kim Kardashian could dare compete with Pete Davidson potentially being with Emirata, which we got our first picture of this week, was if Kim dated Harry Styles. And then this week, the first piece of that puzzle went into motion when they made an announcement, like a very Friends episode. They're taking a break. Sophie, what are your thoughts on
Oh
this
my God.
dramatic news?
I can't believe you predicted that. First of
Well,
all,
I predicted the breakup, but I only predicted it because I thought
the
Kim would
coupling
break
would
them
happen.
up. Yes, it's the
Wait,
only
I
way.
feel like, okay, so everyone's like, oh my God, this was so like, of course, as soon as the movie's on HBO, they break up because they don't need like the attention for the box office anymore. I don't know. I thought it was genuine. And I
I
know
did too. I did too.
I'm the number one person that thinks everything is PR.
That is true, actually.
Yeah,
That is totally true. And you believed in this one.
literally. Yeah, but there are the occasional couple where I'm like, no, I thought that was genuine. I thought it was real. Obviously, it makes sense for PR. It got the movie way. Wait, we didn't talk about I talked about it on my own podcast about how freaking terrible that movie is.
I thought you would like it because it was like, dude, she's talking about "Don't Worry, Darling," you guys. I could
I
do
love
it's like a 2-hour Black Mirror episode, but like way
exactly. I love
stylized.
Black Mirror, but it was not well done. I love the concept of it. Like it could have been well done, but after I watched it, I was like, I have so many unanswered questions. Like
I like
I
seeing
ha-
Harry
I-
Styles as an incel when he's like all pockmarked and like, and I
yeah,
was like,
with like the
ha ha,
string
mother.
hair.
I was like, ha ha, this is exactly, you
Wait,
look like
I
all of
like,
us.
and they're like nationality British. It's like, why did he choose to have a British accent?
And could he
Like,
have broken out of the British accent in the actual, and so like, anyways, I don't want to spoil the movie. It's on HBO Max, but
yeah, I
did
feel like we
you,
just spoiled it, but just like go
but
watch it.
yeah, I mean, come on. But did you see, I mean, you didn't see this coming, but do you understand what I'm saying is that the Pete Emrata thing, because we talked about Emrata 2 weeks ago because she has a new podcast that I know you thoroughly enjoy. Is that, do you, I mean, I think this really got to Kim. I think this is one that could, like, I didn't know where
Make
Pete was
him
going to go.
viral.
I didn't know where Pete was going to go with Who Do You Date Next. And I think even if it's PR, what a perfect choice, because I think Kim, because Kim views Emrata as somebody that actually is quote unquote smart plus beautiful looking. So I think Kim possibly is spiraling.
Oh, well, Kim had also said before that her celebrity crush was Emrata. Like, Emrata's the one person that she thinks is like hotter than her. So,
Sorry, I'm laughing
so,
so ridiculously, but yeah.
but she really had said that at one point.
No, but
That,
that's why I'm saying it's like,
yeah,
wow,
it's
this must have shook her to her core so much so that the Daily Mail said the next day she hopped a flight to Miami without the kids. And I was like, what is she just going out looking for celebrities to bang? You know, like what is happening at this point?
Gretchen Wieners had snapped.
Wait. Well, but don't you think if Kim could date Harry Styles, that would think
It's
I
the-
would
I
think
was
then
gonna
Kim
say-
leapfrogs. Kim
I was gonna
leapfrogs
say,
Pete.
if the price is right for Harry, I could see that happening because, you know, it would be like for the right price.
But okay, but I put this in my stories and then I got like 100 comments from people in my DMs of people like, she would never do that. He dated Kendall. And I was like, these people aren't real. Kim doesn't care if Harry dated Kendall.
Right. Also, like, Courtney may have dated Justin Bieber.
Travis Barker originally was attracted to Kim Kardashian.
Yes. Yes. There's like so much incestuous. That's like a non-factor. I think the only thing that might deter them is that Harry's fans made Olivia Wilde's life like a living hell for almost 2 years. So I don't know, like Kim has so much dirty laundry. I feel like Harry Styles fans are almost up there with like Taylor Swift fans. Like, do not piss them off.
It's just a thought in my mind because Kim thinks strategically, or she likes to tell us she thinks strategically. But I know you really haven't paid much attention to this season of the Kardashians. But we had our fifth.
I haven't gotten myself to watch it.
We had our fifth. It felt like our fifth or sixth episode of the Met Gala ordeal, which is like it's our Brit and Jax's wedding from Vanderpump Rules, but with the Met Gala.
Oh my god, just so like strung out.
It never ends. And Kim keeps telling us, my vision. And I'm like, you stole your vision from Marilyn Monroe had the vision. You copied that vision. But Pete Davidson was in this episode and he was fine. But the overall like over important, and I don't want to I know this is her quote unquote art, but the overimportance of it all for the whole family. Like I watched that and I was like, dude, that's why Pete didn't want to be a wit. I mean, like I really thought Pete saw that kind of crap and was like, I'm out, because it was
Wait, when she was
ridiculous.
like,
It was ridiculous.
no, like just taking it so seriously.
Yes. Like I
Yeah.
know I know we do that too with
For
certain
like
things.
some
Yes.
photos that go around the internet, and most people just like made fun of her.
And she face tunes her photos anyway. So it's not like you could have digitally enhanced any of this stuff to begin with. So the fact that it was, and I just like Pete just sat there like a prop in the scenes that I saw. And I was like, yeah, he doesn't want to be a part of this. Like it's too much. It's too
Yeah.
much.
And I think for like, I don't know. I'm thinking of just like the fact that it's almost like proof that her relevancy is gone so down, kind of, because it's like if you had told me that, like she was running a freaking like she was an army surgeon or whatever it is for this like dress ordeal a couple of years ago, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like she's one of the most famous women in the world. And now we're like, she's delusional. Like no one cares.
Yeah. No, it's weird to see it because like I always say, this season and last season seemed just like wish fulfillment. And it's like all Chloe does and Kendall does is talk about their anxiety, which is like, I mean, we get it. We have anxiety too, but like if it's this much anxiety, pull back. You don't need to do any of this at this point. You're good financially. If it really is like, and by the way, congratulations goes out to Kendall Jenner. She's announced that she is she's going with surrogacy for a horse. Because, and that's so smart because that would have wrecked Kendall's body as a model to deliver a horse herself. So she went with a Olympian horse, like Olympian, like, and they talked about that in the show. Like she was so proud of using Olympian horse sperm for this. And I was like, I'm checked out. Like, I don't even, this is not normal at all anymore.
That's actually something that's discussed on the show.
Yes. 100%.
Oh my God. It's worse than I thought. It's worse.
I know.
Okay, I'm never gonna get around to watching it. For so long, I was like, maybe I'm just like,
no,
Saturday.
You'd be furious. You'd be furious.
Yeah.
You'd be furious. Okay. I don't know if your dude has gotten you any Hanukkah gifts yet, but if he hasn't, if he's still last minute shopping, this is a big sale. Erica Jane's earrings, the one that she's said originally were purchased for $750,000. Then on the show, she was like, they're actually worth 1.3. Well, now it turns out they're going to be auctioned at a price of $250,000 to $350,000 at auction. So that, I'm not good at math, but if you take 1.3 and then 350, that's like a real big differential there.
What?
I mean, are these cubic zirconia? Are they? So I guess diamonds, somebody says, I was going to ask you, do they lose their value? Or are they not like purses? Like where they increase in value?
Well, with purses, it depends on the purse. Like a Birkin or Chanel, etc., will appreciate in value. With diamonds, I actually I would figure that, they don't lose value unless, they're scuffed or not taken care of. It also depends on the cut and color, like clarity of a diamond. So in her mind, they could have been very high quality diamonds. I think for that much money, they're probably real diamonds. They just aren't going for as much as she said they were for, I don't know, cut and clarity reasons. I have no idea.
I mean, yeah, also maybe, I don't know if if there's what do they call that? The history of the object, the provenance. Maybe the provenance now includes orphans and widows, and that decreases the value as well. So, but I mean, I think that's a steal for anybody that's looking for $1.3 million earrings. My theory also is, don't you think, I bet you anything that Diana Jenkins buys these for Erica back?
Oh my God, can you imagine?
I can imagine. Remember when she begged for the Panther ring? She's like, I haven't got the Black Panther ring. Why don't you buy it?
Okay, Diana, if that's what you want to do with your one precious life and your money, fine.
It's crazy. It's why I just thought that was wild.
That is crazy.
Now, one of our favorite shows of the last year on Hulu was The Dropout, true story of Elizabeth Holmes, who created a company called Theranos. And she finally got the verdict of her sentence this week, and she has been delivered with a sentence of 11 years. What were your thoughts on this?
I thought it would have been longer. I know that it was going to be like up to 25 years, but I was like, no, I feel like she not only, was affecting people's lives with her like fake blood test, she also stole a ton of money. So it's like she did a lot of things wrong. And so I really thought that she'd go for like longer than that. But like, okay.
I'm going to go for 11 years, and it's going to be a very profitable time for me. And by the way, she's pregnant with her second child. And
I
like,
know.
how does that fact? And by the way, can Jen Shaw get pregnant at this point to delay any kind of prisons? Like, what happened? Do they have to wait for the baby to come out for you to start your sentence? Or do you get
Um,
pregnant can you be pregnant in jail?
I don't know. I don't know why you're asking me. I have no idea.
Sophie,
Maybe,
I know you've served a sentence or two. Have you ever seen
yeah.
anybody in your cell block pregnant?
No, I feel like it could delay her going to prison actually. Yes, because if you can have the option to not give birth in prison, I'm sure they're like, yeah, just like don't do that. But I don't know. So probably as soon as she gives birth, like there's no mat leave. She just gives birth and then she's off
Do you think,
to the
I mean,
clinic.
a lot of people were theorizing that she was having these babies to kind of delay
Yeah.
sentencing and all that. Do you subscribe to that theory, or do you think she was actually just
Yeah.
having,
Oh, I mean, she's capable of anything. So
I
yeah,
mean,
I could see
truly
something that insane. Yes,
also,
absolutely.
but what's overall, what's to stop us from going, like me going today, going like, I have a vision of creating a machine that wipes away all cancer. And people just like, because that's what she did. She goes, with one drop of blood, we will be able to do every known test with one drop of blood. But there was no scientific data to back that up. So I'm like, why can't, I mean, like, that seems like
I
the
think she
easiest scam
wanted
to disprove.
she really, really wanted it to work. Like, I think that she was just like, we're gonna figure it out. Like, in the meantime, we'll take this money. We're going to figure it out, and then we're gonna make all of this money back. Like, I really think she genuinely just like wanted it to work. And then obviously she was in
Yeah.
over her head and just went too far and snowballed. Um, and yeah. And
I
then
think,
that money was never seen again, and we still don't have a finger prick blood test.
I know we're the ones that lose out. Also, in spin-off news from this, I thought this was actually kind of cool. Jennifer Lawrence, the actor, there was going to be an Elizabeth Holmes movie directed by Adam McKay, who is the producer of Succession, and he's done a lot of movies himself. They were doing the Elizabeth Holmes story, but Jennifer Lawrence dropped out last month because she said, after watching the performance on The Dropout by
Mhm.
Amanda Seyfried, why do it? She says, I can't do better than that. I think that's kind
I
of cool.
I figured that wouldn't end up happening because it was taking so long and they did the dropout first, and I was like, there's no way they'll go ahead with a movie about this. Like we've already seen the show.
Yeah, but I think that's like a really smart decision for her
Yeah.
too, of like, yeah, why
Are
compete with
they
like
still
something,
so they're not still doing it, right?
not doing it at all. The
Yeah.
project is done.
Yeah.
Um, have you caught up with Winter House?
Oh my God. Yes. I was
What?
fired up last episode.
But I felt like we got teased and we didn't get any of the meat, because we have Carl and Lindsay coming to the house. You have Jason Cameron, who unfortunately they had a miscarriage with Lindsay last season. They haven't really talked. Then you have Austin. What is your opinion of Austin being a little bitch and tattletaling to the other girls about the night of Amanda and Kyle's wedding?
Yeah, that's bad. And
Right?
also, yeah, so Austin sucks. I think Sierra needs to get over it. Like it's just I can understand. I think that Sierra like genuinely really 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 liked Austin for
Yeah,
reasons I'll never
obviously.
be able to understand. She was like super into him, super hurt that it didn't work out. Now Paige is like feeding her delusions. Like, well, he's looking you up and down. And it's like, no, he's not. Like, stop feeding her delusions. You know what you're doing. Oh, and the crypto Lindsay thing also with
Yeah, what was
her.
your opinion on that last week with
Oh my God,
Pearl Necklace guy?
ew, gross, first of all. But like her and Craig like trashing Lindsay's appearances,
that was messed up. Wait, because
very messed up.
am I crazy? But I think Lindsay's really good looking. Like, am I
She
crazy?
is. No, she objectively is. And it's not
Yeah,
like
like let me objectify her. She's objectively good looking.
she's objectively good looking, and her and Jess actually like just do look alike. They look the same age. They look the same age.
What would
Like
possess you to say
maybe
that?
it
What would
looks,
possess you as a girl to say that about another girl?
and then she wonders why she like doesn't have girlfriends.
But it also shows you like Craig is in dark Craig phase of his life. Like I know everybody loves Craig and Craig seems like
No,
everybody says Craig's a nice guy in real life, but like Craig loves to gossip just as much as the girls do. And for him to say like, well, that's not a compliment in the car to Crypto
he's like, I
Lindsay.
told you it wasn't a compliment. Like they had already talked about it. I was like,
Like
that is
what?
so messed up. It's so messed up. Craig is so gross. I feel like he's like irredeemable after this
Do you
season.
let your boyfriend do a baby voice to you like Craig does every morning with Paige? Like, you want to lay in the bed with me? We need more bedtime before you. He does that voice. It drives me crazy.
Not every morning, but I think baby talk is just like it happens sometimes,
But it shouldn't happen on camera, Sophie. You would never do that on camera.
Never, never.
Never. Promise me, whatever
No, I
story.
just be like, hi, cutie, sweetie, how's it going?
What do you think is going to happen though in terms and like isn't it funny like Carl and Lindsay, I did feel like there was this awkwardness of Carl trying to be like I'm a sober fun guy still. Like, like he was like he was like perfectly dressed and he's like this
I
place is
love
a
how he was,
mess.
like, cleaning the house for
Yes,
them.
he's like, this place is trash, and it is trash. But that makes me worried for Carl in Summer House because for some reason I want his sobriety and his like self-improvement to keep going. And I love that Lindsay hopped on board with that. But what do you think? Do you think this is why Danielle and Lindsay got into a fight? Like Austin's obviously going to let this thing go in the house next week completely. And I don't think he should have said it to the girls at all, and
Wait,
especially on
why do you
camera.
think her and Danielle, because she stopped drinking? Is that what you mean?
No. I'm talking about the night of they're all obsessed with this timeline of the
Yeah.
relationship.
The
And
night of
Carl
Kyle
and
and Amanda's wedding.
yeah, they're obsessed with this. And they said that same night, Austin was in the room with her and he had to remove her hand from his private parts. And he told all the girls in the bedroom in footage. And I think that's ridiculous because he shouldn't have said that one because Austin is no like, oh, poor, like Austin went after every one of those girls and like made moves on those
Right.
girls. And so he should have kept his mouth shut if that was the case. But also they said they made it official 2 weeks later. I still don't know what the problem is here. Will you explain what the outrage is?
I don't know what the problem is either. But why would Danielle care about that?
Well, I was thinking that maybe that in my head, I was thinking maybe Danielle was like, I do know Lindsay to do this with many guys, and I don't want her to do this with Carl. And maybe that, I mean, I was just trying to think of reasons because something happened bad. And we know that Carl and Danielle are close friends as well.
A big deal. I don't think it's a big deal either. I feel like it was like a setup. Like they were like planning it. Like, which is just so frustrating because obviously Lindsay and Carl are just happy and healthy and doing well and sober. And yeah, it's like, why
I don't know.
they're so obsessed with hating on Lindsay, like Amanda, Paige, Sierra. It's like, oh my God.
But Amanda, Paige, Sierra, and Craig. Like Craig's
And
just as
Craig
much of the
and
girl group.
Austin.
They're just as much of the girl group. It is also funny to see the Emperor with no clothes because Austin, if you take a look at his Summer House days, he was like king shit. And now you can tell he's completely deflated. He's lost all his mojo. Like he's like calling that girl, he's calling the girl from Southern Charm, Olivia. And he's like, by the way, what a dummy to even think to invite Olivia in the first place. And then he's like, you know what? I made the decision that probably not good to do that. And like, Olivia's like, yeah, I can wait a couple extra days. Why would you think?
I don't want to go anyway.
Yes. He seems completely not the cocky dude that knew he was getting like 3 different women last year on Summer House.
Yeah. I don't know. Why do you think he's so deflated?
I think because he realizes how much people thought he was gross for what he did with those women.
Yeah.
And all of his moves are shown on TV. Now, Corey, on the other hand, he's a frat bro from Craig. He wears a pearl necklace. 2 weeks ago, he told us he's playing these things. They're like negging girls. And it seems like Crypto Lindsay, it's working hook, line, and sinker. Like,
Seriously.
but this seems like it works with women. Like, he's proving it to be true.
Well, also with dumb women, I think. Like, not like evolved like normal ones. Like,
homeschooled ones, you mean?
Homeschooled jungle freaks. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We love homeschool people. That's not true.
I just keep quoting Mean Girls today. But wait, Corey on Watch What Happens Live, didn't he kind of like insinuate that him and Jess aren't together anymore?
Correct. Yes, correct. But so Corey and Craig were on Watch What Happens Live, and it's actually very entertaining because it's two frat dudes together that are like, "Come on, bro, say what you really mean, dude." And Andy, you can tell he's like fully turned on. Andy loves it, and it's just like that's all hysterical. But I do think also I talked to Rachel this week, the flower girl, and she was awesome. Like Rachel actually is truly. I was like, I actually want to know more about her now after speaking with her on the podcast because I was like, she actually seems kind of dope and she's having like a nice first season where she's building. She's not like creating waves like Crypto Lindsay.
Yeah, and she's just likable, but she still has a storyline with Jason.
Yeah, but it's like, she says Jason doesn't want to have a relationship yet. And that's probably what, because I thought he just doesn't have that killer instinct to convert. And she says, no, it's more that he just doesn't seem to want one.
Yeah, I think Jason has a lot going on. I feel like he's just like he's not in the right place.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really like Rachel. Those are like the newbies. I know that Jason isn't a newbie, but he still kind of is. But like people like them. Like Corey and Jess, everyone's like, get off my screen.
Well, Craig said this on Watch What Happens Live. I don't know if you heard this, was that he didn't apologize to Luke for the fireworks because he still doesn't agree that happened, but he does apologize to Luke for something we didn't see. And that was because Corey's other fraternity brother was supposed to be there and at the last minute canceled. And so in that fight, Craig called him a replacement to Luke.
They never aired that.
No, they never aired that. That's what he said. He goes, I do apologize to Luke for that.
But he brought it up on Watch What Happens Live. Like, oh my God. No
Such
one
a dick. But also, what a dick. Like, it was just such dickhead behavior. I don't like that. Okay.
And also he said he was definitely proposing to Paige within the next year.
Yes. And he goes, well, the later half of the year, like next Thanksgiving. Like they're definitely going to get married. I feel like they might break up before that happens. I don't know. I think they egg each other on with the attention that they get from all of us.
I don't know the way that Paige like that, like, I don't know if Paige would choose that for the rest of her life, the way that she's talking about him, like that he has half a brain, that he's so loud and obnoxious, that she like hates the side of him, whatever it is that she's been complaining about him nonstop. Like, I don't know if Paige is going to choose that for the rest of her life.
Do you care to make a sports bet about it? Is that what they call it in sports? Let's make a $50 bet. I'll bet you $50 they end up engaged, if not married.
I bet you $50 they'll break up before that.
Okay,
happens.
yeah, okay. That's actually fun. Now I'm really invested in their relationship.
Okay, listeners, keep us hold us accountable when this happens.
Oh, did you hear about this? Denise Richards, you guys, that she was driving to set. Aaron, her big hunky husband, was driving her to work. And they got into like, he was like kind of moved to the side and this guy was trying to get past him. And I guess some kind of fight ensued. And then they found out when they got there that the guy had shot at Denise Richards' car and there was a police report, like all of this stuff. But then I'm like, isn't Aaron the guy that said Big Pharma was always following him?
Oh my God. What if
Pharma?
What if Aaron was right about everything?
That's what
What if Aaron was literally right about everything and that cancer is just like a state of mind?
It's 5G, dude. 5G. Like, no, I was like, oh my God, because that's where my sick mind went. First off, it is a horrific thing. like people shooting at people. I
I'm
mean, like
glad they're safe.
obviously.
I'm
Yes,
glad
yes.
they're safe.
That's obviously the first thing, but I hated that my sick mind immediately went to, oh my God, that's the guy that said Big Pharma follows them everywhere. And I'm like, no, dude, your wife's Denise Richards. That's paparazzi. But also Aaron's a hothead. So people are like, we don't know the conversation that happened between that driver and that driver. But to shoot at anybody in a car is like, guys, get and then I made a joke, like a post about that. And I hate how it devolves into, like, guys, this is about Denise Richards. Then it devolves into Los Angeles is sick and disgusting. It's going down. Like, it's been that way for a while. I'm like, I'm not trying to make a big political discussion
that can
out
happen
of this.
anywhere. Road rage incidents with guns happen literally everywhere.
This is
really sad because they're always like, it's always some collateral damage, like a child or something. Just like never, don't do that, guys.
Have you been watching this season of The Vow?
No, but my last guest on my podcast, Sarah Rabin, who I had on last week, she did the courtroom sketches for the Nixium trials. So listen to her.
Wait, like for fun, or that was her job?
No, she was paid to do it because she's an artist. So go listen to that episode if you want to hear.
Okay. You guys, on tomorrow's podcast, Nippy and Sarah, both of the Nixium members that actually are part of this, that did the story for the New York Times, are on the podcast, and they do a podcast called A Little Bit Culty, but it is the season finale of the second season of The Vow come out, and it's just the Keith Raniere stuff is like, they finally got to episode 5 and 6 where it's like horrific things he was doing. And I just thought it was interesting, but also to spin off that story about cults, Scientology, there's something really to be keeping an eye on here, is that Danny Masterson, the actor, who of course with that 70s show, the jury has been deadlocked because he has been accused of trigger warning of assaulting and raping women, and they have been deadlocked on all 3 counts, and the judge released them for the week of Thanksgiving, and then they're going to resume deliberations. But Danny Masterson also refused to take the stand and refused to defend or call anybody to the stand for his defense. So the
and why are they deadlocked?
I don't know. Well,
it sounds pretty obvious.
But when Scientology's involved, I mean, there's a lot of
they're threatening the jury members.
Well, I mean, that is something that goes through your mind, right? Like Harvey Weinstein and all of these people, R. Kelly, it's been proven that one of the jurors was paid off at one point years and years and years ago before he actually went to jail. So you do have to wonder on things like this. Your mind naturally wanders to this, not that it's true, but why are they deadlocked when you do have 3 women who were also all Scientologists, by the way? So you can't say these were actual Scientologists saying that Danny Masterson, the actor that we all laughed at on that 70s show, did this. So it's very interesting.
I don't understand the deadlock thing. Like, I think it's extremely obvious, but
I do too, but I'm just trying to cover all bases of I can't prove anything, but this completely seems bizarre to me. Why, it just doesn't make sense in any sort of way.
Oh my God. Scientology is so scary.
It is. I mean, it truly is. Scary. Can you explain to us, as somebody that you did it 2 weeks ago a little bit, how do you think Elon's handled taking over Twitter, Sophie, and the things that he's instituted so far? Have you enjoyed the new Twitter?
Oh my God. Well, I love how everyone was saying goodbye the other night, and it's 3 days later and we still have Twitter.
I'm gonna say goodnight I'm gonna say goodbye every night, just because that's what my grandma does to me now. Every time I talk to her, she's like, goodbye forever. And I'm like, no, Grandma.
Oh my God. There were so many credible, they were sources inside Twitter HQ say that they could close, or the website could shut down as early as tonight after all engineers walk out. And everyone was like, oh, this sounds like it's it. And it's just fine.
Vending machines are down. I repeat, vending machines are down. Well, what have you noticed though? Anything different since
it's scary. I used to if I would report in terms of content moderation, it would take a while, and sometimes you wouldn't even get the answer you wanted, aka really inappropriate, racist, anti-Semitic tweets would just get past the moderation team. And now that there isn't a moderation team, there's definitely more. I don't even bother reporting things anymore because I know that there's not a content moderation team. But there's
that's
definitely
true. There's no content moderation team.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's definitely more even more violent maybe than it was before. I don't know. Like there's definitely more hate speech. They even said that like the N-word had been tweeted like 5,000 more times than usual once Elon took over. So
And he actually did a fun Twitter poll if we should bring Donald Trump back, and Donald Trump is back, but he says he's not going to be back. But I'm like, is that what it's like? You spent $44 billion to do Twitter polls? Like I can do a Twitter poll right now. I mean, you like
he
just
spent $44 billion to own the libs.
It's so weird to me. Congratulations to Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt. They had their baby, another son. So congratulations to them. I think that's happy news. This actually is disturbing news for everybody. I know you're going to have a fun time with your family. Thanksgiving is Thursday, but on Sunday, I need you to be prepared for something that is going to be something that it's just not good news. On Watch What Happens Live, Teddy Mellencamp and John Mellencamp will be Andy's guests that night.
I saw that. Why?
Sorry, Freddie Mellencamp. I keep messing up her name. Freddie Mellencamp.
Literally, why? Like, I guess John Mellencamp, like, okay, cool. Music, famous music guy. Like, so you could argue that he's relevant in any decade.
Sure, of course. I would totally
his
say
daughter
he's
is not, no one wants to see her, and we literally have made it so clear. The viewers have never made it clear that they despise a housewife. You can find random fans for every single housewife that's ever existed. Even Peggy from the OC, remember her?
Yes, like, Peggy Sullivan. Yeah,
you will never find a single Teddy fan.
Wait, but no. I will argue with that. On Twitter, which is a hellscape, you will find Freddie fans that just say they're fans because they just don't like other people. Like, they'll just be fans out of like. Well, just
out of hating someone else.
Out of hating somebody else.
Like we were fighting on Twitter. Me and Teddy.
You and dude, Freddie created you, Sophie. Freddie, you owe your success to Freddie Mellencamp.
I know. I was no one until that happened.
What if Andy Cohen only directs questions to John? And like ignores Freddie? Like Freddie's the bartender. All
the people calling in are just like, hi, bartender. Hi, Andy.
Hey, question for
you, John.
Question for John. You don't want Freddie back on Beverly Hills, right? Like you don't like.
Wait, also, you know what I was thinking about the other day? Remember when John Mayer was the bartender for Sierra and Andrea?
Yes, yeah, totally.
That was so funny.
He said he made the joke about Andrea about the Denver Nuggets because
he said something like, did you not like the name Andrea Nuggets?
The guy can't. You can't.
Yeah. He was like, do an Italian accent. I can't do one.
I don't know. I'm Andrea Denver. I'm gonna make a spaghetti. Hey, John Mayer. But John Mellencamp, he does owe it to Teddy to be on the show, I guess, because John Mellencamp, now 72 years old, is dating Marianelli Agosto, 44. After meeting through his daughter, Freddie. Freddie hooked her dad up with one of her friends.
That's so gross. That's so weird. Ew. My dad said, even I think that's gross.
Yeah, Mr. Ross. Yes, exactly. This actually, I think, is also cool about John Mellencamp, and I am a John Mellencamp fan. We just had the 2022 National Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, and let's see here. Attorney Alan Grubman, who is John Mellencamp's attorney, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he is just an amazing lawyer for musicians. He's also Jewish.
That's cool that they honor like lawyers.
Yes, yeah, because the music business is a business. It includes all types of people. But in John Mellencamp's speech, he said the F anti-Semitism in his speech because he was talking about having a Jewish lawyer, which the thing that we bring this up now because I think it's so important. What did you watch Dave Chappelle's opening monologue on SNL last week?
Yeah, and I found found it very offensive. And the people,
Okay, that's what I wanted to.
The people like being like, it's just comedy. I'm like, he was saying things. So when he said, I mean, he made a lot of off-color jokes, not just off-color, but just like straight up offensive. When he was like, at the end, he was being so serious. He was like, I hope I don't lose everything after this. I hope I didn't, piss off the most powerful people in the world again. The mysterious cabal. Like, he was like very much insinuating that there's a mysterious cabal in power. He's like, there are a lot of Jews in Hollywood. What's wrong with that, first of all?
Okay, this is the thing I always ask you. I don't get it. As a Catholic, a non-practicing Catholic, I don't understand why, like, that just means, I mean, I don't understand why.
Jews, there are so many Jews in Hollywood because Jews were not allowed in so many industries and professions, even in the United States. Around the time Hollywood was created, a lot of them had just like went out west because there was nothing where all the hub cities were on the East Coast. And they were
But
good
isn't that to be celebrated and honored and not made fun of? Like, I don't like if anybody else, yeah, you would be like, oh my God, you're the best at this. You're like, congratulations for getting this high up in the industry. But then you have to make it a collective and make it a bad thing. And then Dave Chappelle, who, like, by the way, has had some problems in the past, especially with trans people that I don't agree with his take on. He says, like, you can never say those two words together, the Jews. You could say it in your head, but the crazy part about Kanye was he said it out loud. And I'm like, whoa, that to me is so wildly, weirdly offensive.
And the way he said, like, if it's Black people, it's a gang. If it's Italian people, it's a mob. And if it's Jewish people, it's just purely a coincidence. It's like, but you're saying
that's not true though either, because he's then making it a thing, and they're all making it a thing, and it's become worse now than it has been in so long. Like, I don't get that.
There are definitely Jewish, like, mafia mob groups throughout history. Call them that. You can call them a Jewish mob.
You're like, Jew. We got the mobs too. That's not. Yeah.
But it's not. That's how anti-Semitism functions, though, is that it's a conspiracy theory.
But then to normalize it with people like Dave Chappelle frustrates me, because you have somebody that people look up to, and you're like, oh, this guy's making jokes about it, it must be okay. And I'm like, we're still at the end of the day, no offense, talking about somebody who is, the whole joke bit started because of Kanye West. And we're also dealing with a mentally ill man. You can say he's a genius, you can say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, there's no arguing that, unless you want to argue with doctors that have done way more schooling than you, and not Dr. Google, actual doctors. And this is what we're talking about, is a mentally unwell man who will not take his medicine. But we will go through upsetting complete, like, races, religions, all of this stuff to make a small defense for a man who is saying some horrific things, and if he took his medicine, could still be a genius and be a normal person without these hateful thoughts. I just don't, nobody can explain this to me in a way that I can make it make sense.
Like the Kyrie Irving thing, and Dave Chappelle was like, you just can't blame, he was like, Jews have been through a lot, but you just can't blame that on Black people. You just can't. And people were like, are we supposed to laugh, clap? Like, it wasn't a joke. And no one's doing that or saying that. They're holding Kyrie Irving accouable, or Kanye.
Yes.
So it's very frustrating. So yeah, but we already knew Dave Chappelle was a piece of shit. So we already knew that.
I mean, by the way, he did. I mean, he's shown his ass many times, but I think it's interesting in pop culture. We put these people on pedestals after decades. And I was watching some people's favorite, like, fall movie, You've Got Mail, and Dave Chappelle plays Tom Hanks's best friend / electrical contractor in that movie. And I was like, that is so funny that used to be what he was in those type of movies before he became the Dave Chappelle that everybody looks to make these big, bold points. And I will say, I have a couple people that know Mr. Chappelle personally, that like party at his Ohio house. The dude, from what I understand, the dude likes his drink too. He's a sloppy drunk, and it'll be very interesting to see what his future holds. But everybody holds so much respect for him that I think is just really dangerous when he then speaks out about these really, really, like, you wouldn't come to me to talk about like the Bitcoin crisis. I wouldn't be able to explain finance to you guys. You wouldn't come to me for that.
I've been fascinated by that, by the way. I've been
Dude, that one dude, the FTX dude.
Well, yeah. So Tom Brady and Giselle apparently lost like $400 million. So basically, when this
and their love.
Yeah. So apparently that might be like the real reason that there was a rift in their divorce, because even for them who are incredibly wealthy, $400 million is still a lot of money. So that played into their divorce. Very interesting theories going out there. So I've gotten into crypto just because of that.
Well, okay, if you know what Sophie's talking about, if you pay attention or just go to the Daily Mail, there's this one dude, he has like big bushy hair, he wears shorts, he like was head of this FTX Bitcoin exchange, but his girlfriend, he supposedly loaned his girlfriend billions of dollars that he thought she was, and if you, no offense, dude, like this is no offense, but if you see this girl, it's like she's a dweeb, like, by the way, but obviously she's a dweeb that had like really big success, and it's a crash. They've lost billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And now celebrities are getting sued, even including Larry David. They have now, because Larry David did a commercial for this Bitcoin exchange. And so Tom Brady and Giselle invested a big portion of their money with them, and they've lost it all. Brady is on one of the biggest losing streaks of his whole life.
Yeah, no, he is. But it's basically like a Ponzi scheme, or it was. I had someone who actually knows crypto, like, explain it to me, that like they were getting more investments and they were taking that money to make like big bets to make the company more money. And so like these people's money that they were investing is now completely gone because the bets didn't pay off. So
sad.
That's I'm like a crypto expert. If you haven't
well, no, I mean, crypto is really like one of those things. I remember almost trying to get into it 4 years ago before the pandemic, because you said you could make small trades on these things. And I was like, okay, but I just didn't have it in me. Like some guy was trying to explain it to me and I was like, I'd like to make money. But like Justin Bieber paid millions of dollars for NFTs as well for this Bored Ape. And the Bored Ape, now that he paid $6 million for, is worth $60,000 now. Like, so even like NFTs, Bitcoins, it's all crumbling. Some good news, you guys. If you're looking for a new podcast, on November 30th, we will all be graced with Kristen Doty's new podcast, Sex, Love, and What Else Matters with Kristen Doty.
Oh my God.
I'm very curious. I had just rewatched the Vanderpump Rules season 2 reunion after it came out that Jax and her hooked up in Sandoval's, on Sandoval's couch. And
oh my God,
I'm so curious what this podcast, I mean, like, I'm seriously curious, like years removed from the show, what your podcast is about.
She might actually. Yeah.
Well, my question to you is, Bethany Frankel, of course, is competing with us now for like podcasting. She's doing a rewatch podcast, which we already talked about. Is there one person on, what's that? Oh, hey, what's up, Dad? Woo!
Say hi. Say hi.
Hi. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to meet you. Oh, that's nice. Oh,
okay, bye.
Oh my God, I got totally nervous and awkward, like I always do.
Mr. Ross.
Mr. Ross, your dad was cool. Well, okay, Vanderpump Rules, though. If you were to pick one person on the cast, past or present, that you would trust and want to hear a rewatch podcast from, who would it be?
Ooh, that I would trust.
Yeah, because I feel like you need a reliable narrator, because I feel like Jax is ruled out because it wouldn't be good.
Okay, there's probably a better answer than this, but the one that keeps flashing in my brain right now is Tom Schwartz. I feel like Tom Schwartz could be a very reliable narrator.
Do you know who listens to our Monday episodes?
Tom Schwartz?
Katie Maloney's mom. No, she's really sweet. Her name's Trisha.
Wait,
she's like
she
really
say that?
No, she did. She DM'd and she says, I really like how you talk about your parents. And she's really nice. And like, she reminds me of my mom. But the thing I was going to say was that, like, because Not Skinny, Not Fat posted this crying picture. I talked about it on, I think, Thursday's episode or something. And Katie put it like underneath it of like, that's me going through Christmas holiday ornaments right now. And, with all the memories coming up, like crying. And it reminded me of the first year after I got a divorce, when I was like opening, like we had split
Oh.
up our ornaments, and of course she had all the nice ornaments and I had the Jersey Shore cast ornaments because I'm a geek. Like I had the Hannah Montana funny ornament, but I remember being really sad, and it was something that I totally understood. And it's like Schwartz is so charming, but Katie, like I feel like Katie kind of handled this the best way she could, but I was just thinking about that. But yeah, Schwartz could be, but only if he told the honest truth. And I don't know if Schwartz, from what I see like on the show and all that, I don't know if he's able to relay his actual truth to people.
I think, okay, so you're right. You're definitely right about that. I would say Kristen, I wouldn't call her reliable, but I feel like if there's one thing, she reminds me of Brandy Glanville kind of, and that she's like so sometimes brutally honest. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I was
Who
just
would
saying
you
because
say?
it's eventually going to happen to everybody. I would say if you could get, I would, well, it's not from the beginning, but I would say I wish Ariana's podcast she has was a rewatch podcast,
Oh,
because I've heard
yeah. I
Ariana
was
talk
thinking of just
about the show. I've heard her talk about even her like I've heard Ariana make fun of her own bits on the show, and like I think she would actually be a good rewatch host, but she has her own podcast. But I don't know other than that. Like I think they're
who would
all,
be. I was thinking of like the OGs. The
yeah, I know.
OG.
She's like second season, and she was only
Yeah.
minimally in the second season from then on. So I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
Ariana actually probably is the best option.
As we start winding down here, have you kept up with Salt Lake at all? Did you make Heather Gay's choir? Wow, we're getting that her dad just passed us again.
Because you're in because how
He
have you
goes,
seen
I feel his presence. Yeah.
Wait, say that again.
No, I said, have you, I said, we're about to wind, we're almost done here. Have you watched Salt Lake, and have you made Heather Gay's choir?
Salt Lake is so boring. It's
Really?
so I'm sorry,
I
I
think it's so
cannot get into
weirdly
it.
fun. You can't get into it? What about
No,
Potomac?
and you know what? Someone I love Potomac. Potomac, it's not like the strongest season. I feel like it's falling into the overly produced trap that like Real Housewives eventually fall into when they're so far into the run of the show.
And they're also
Um,
good and entertaining that it doesn't matter though, because they're so fun,
right, exactly. With Salt Lake City, I'm just like, I just like am not at all invested in anyone. Like, I just don't care about the drama. I wish that the Jen Shaw stuff was like more of like a focal point, but instead we're getting like Lisa and Meredith and Heather and Whitney drama. And I'm just like, and Angie. I'm like, I don't care about Angie. I don't care
Well,
about
there's
Angie's
two
content.
Angies. There's two Angies, Angie K and Angie H, and like it's like to differentiate is even
I like the
impossible.
newer Angie, the blonde Angie.
The
is
one
like,
that desperately wants to be on TV, the one with the fat effing elf on a shelf
yeah.
husband. Which, by the way, Jen Shaw seemed third appearance. Jen Shaw seems to have escaped. Like, I don't know how Jen Shaw manages to be on these shows where she just like everything is happening to her, yet she's able to scream and cry, and like where
Right.
the light gets completely off her. And we go to Meredith and Lisa, and I'm like, how are we focusing on this?
I think everyone feels like truly so bad for Jen, which she's done. She did it to herself. She did it to herself. But yeah, I mean, her life is about to be, she's going to get more time than Elizabeth Holmes for sure. I think her minimum sentence is, what's her minimum sentence again? Like,
I think minimum is like 10, I thought, or like it was something. It was
minimum
something.
10 or 11 years. She's definitely getting more than Elizabeth Holmes. So
I think she's sentenced on December 15th, so we'll find out. And finally, Sophie, what row did you get for Taylor Swift for the concert? What was your ticket like?
I'm finna be in the pit. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, oh my
I'm
God.
kidding. No,
Did you try to get tickets?
I went to like, I didn't get a pre-sale code, but I went to the website just to be like, I wonder if this is, if this could happen for me. Because nothing good ever happens to me. Maybe this can be the one thing. But there are the resale sites have tickets, and depending on the city, you can get them for like maybe definitely not under 400, like under 500 at the cheapest. And then they have seats that are like $90,000, like in the pit.
Wait, is that for real? $90,000? Are you joking?
Yes.
Or for real?
No, they literally have like in the high 5 figures for some of these shows.
So if I'm in LA in the pit, it's gonna be me and Diana Jenkins and her boy doy. It's gonna be like, woo, like
And like
I'm
some
loving it,
crypto
Taylor Swift.
bros
Yeah,
and
like
some
Erica
Saudi
Jane.
princes.
Yes. Oh my God. The people, everybody from the Qatar FIFA alliance that's happening. Yeah, but that was ridiculous. Ticketmaster screwed up. But the thing that you got to watch though, now the government is getting super involved because
Good.
Ticketmaster and Live Nation, which owns the venues, they're together, and there really is a scam happening where a lot of fans were waiting for hours and hours, and then they were pushed over to SeatGeek, which automatically resales at a higher price, and then they canceled the sale, the general sale entirely, which means Ticketmaster held on to the remaining tickets, which I think then they're going to resell to ticket resellers anyways.
Yeah,
because they
like
realize the
what are they
demand.
doing with the rest of those tickets? That's what I don't get, but that makes the most sense that it's going to the resale sites that can mark them up at 10,000%.
And the Grateful Dead fans were funny because they were like, now you're dealing with what we've had to deal with our entire lives, because they've always had to do the verified pre-sale, and they've always had these fights within their group. And I'm new to being a Deadhead, so like they were like, that's what we deal with every time. But it took Taylor Swift, you got. By the way, Taylor Swift, I feel like we should just give her all the world's issues, because people want to seem to get involved when it's Taylor Swift. Like, we should give her everything. We should give her anti-Semitism. We should give her, she's the only one that people seem to care about when something goes wrong.
Yeah, true. This was like unprecedented though. Like it actually was crazy because she just has so many fans. And even for someone who I wouldn't even call myself a Swiftie, even though I was in the 0.5% of her listeners on Spotify Wrapped last year. But I wouldn't like necessarily call myself a Swiftie where I'm like, there's so many like actually truly obsessed people. But like it's the Eras tour. So she's going to be doing like all of her best songs from every single album. Like anyone who even casually likes Taylor Swift is like that.
Yeah, you'd still. Oh yeah, my niece, who's like 13 years old, my sister's trying to take her to the Arizona show and couldn't get in, of course. So I'm trying to find a way to get her tickets. But she said, I go, are you like Taylor Swift? She goes, not really, but I'm going to go because mom wants to go and it's a big concert and I think it'll be fun to see the lights and stuff. And I was like, oh, but well, she wanted to see Olivia Rodrigo really bad, but Taylor, she was like, Sophie, this is Thanksgiving. I am thankful for you. I am thankful for your family. I am thankful for all of you guys. Make sure you go subscribe to So True with Sophie Ross. You can go super follow her on Twitter before Twitter. I don't know. Twitter will obviously still always be there, or you can go to her Substack, which she just released an article, a new one on Friday night, I believe. And it just Sophie ross.substack.com. I put it in the show notes. What else is coming up that we need to be aware of? Because I think you're celebrating another grandma's birthday this week.
Yeah, I have my other grandma's birthday we're celebrating on Friday. And yeah, so I have a lot of celebrations. I'm a very lucky lady, but I'm thankful for you also, Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful this Thanksgiving, and I hope you all are too. We're thankful for you too for listening.
Wait, do you think do you ever get worried that you're like, oh, I'm going to live forever according to my genes? Like you're going to live forever potentially. If you're one grandma's 85, your one grandma's 90, you're going to live forever.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And bye, Ross. Bye, Mr. Ross.